You've got some time. I'll explain, because there are two factors here. One, as I record this, SAG-AFTRA is now on strike along with the WGA, and while everyone hopes this will be a speedy solution, the rumblings I'm hearing are it's probably not going to be over anytime soon, which means you've got some time. Two, while I know you want to break into Hollywood, you don't want to go too soon. And what I mean is, whenever you begin to get those meetings, you're starting the ball rolling, you start to get in the room, you're gonna get this question. What else have you got? In other words, what other scripts do you have completed and ready to show? And if you don't have any, you've just burned all the cachet you just used and created by getting in the room in the first place. Because once you get in the room, you want to roll that into the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, always the next thing. So you've got some time to get your ducks in order. Can you find success with only one script in your pocket? Well, yeah, I mean, it can happen, but it's rare. Most writers that break through have multiple scripts. But again, you've got time. Time to craft the scripts you need to have to help you on your way to screenwriting success. And really, you need 3 of them. 3 kind of like broad categories of scripts or writing samples, and I'm going to tell you what those are. 2 quick things, one a reminder and one a caveat. The reminder, right now the WGA is on strike, and whenever there's a WGA strike, don't submit anything to struck companies or you risk any possibility of future membership in the WGA, which is something you're going to want. If you want to know more about strike things and what that means for you, even though you may not be having a career of any kind in Hollywood, I'll link a video at the end of this one about that. The caveat, the broad scripts and writing sample categories that I'm going to give you are suggestions, and I want to be really clear about this. There is no one right way to find success as a screenwriter. What I'm sharing with you are the types of scripts that I and writers I know personally have used to get into the rooms of producers and meetings with managers and even some agents along the way if the script is getting some heat, meaning a lot of people are requesting it and sharing it around the town. So there are other ways, and if you have other types of scripts, that's fine, but you do need completed scripts. That's scripts, plural. The reason is you are trying to show that you can deliver a complete story. Having an outline or a pitch deck or a partial draft or anything other than a completed story is not going to be helpful for you. You have to think of your screenplays and writing samples as your writing resume, and you are trying to get hired for a job. And to get hired for a job, you have to demonstrate your ability to actually do the job. And the job requires completed scripts. So you need completed scripts. If you were to see a resume with only one previous job for the applicant, and then another resume with 3, 4, or more previous jobs for that applicant, of course, depending on the nature of the jobs, of course, the applicant with the more experience is usually the more desirable candidate by the employer. And the same goes for producers and managers, which are really the first people you're going to be trying to get your script to. And when you get that first script to them, they will want to read it, hopefully, and when they do, they will hopefully like it and want to meet you. And so they set up a meeting, which is called a general meeting or a general, and they'll want to talk to you about your script a little, but what they're really interested in talking with you about is your writing tendencies and your interests, and that's when the inevitable question comes, and it's asked in a lot of different ways, but the gist is this: what else have you got? And if you say, well, this is the only script that I've done, they say, okay, cool, this was great, we enjoyed the read, and then they start looking for a way to end the meeting as soon as possible. The reason is, if you only have one script, they aren't going to take you seriously, and you are at this point only trying to sell that one script. But most writers are hired to write scripts by producers. Very few spec scripts actually sell. Yeah, some do, of course, but you want the assignment. You want those jobs. Those are the things that pay the bills, especially once a better deal is negotiated as a result of the current strike. So they are asking for more scripts, and so what do you need? And ideally you have 2 more scripts in your pocket, minimum. So the one you've got in the room plus 2 more. I'll get into what the 3 are in a second, but a couple of things that apply to all of them. Number 1, You can submit any of them and you feel comfortable doing so. And they should all be the caliber and quality that they can be to be submitted. And you submit scripts based on ideal people for them, right? So you're targeting scripts to specific people. If you have a horror script, you're not going to be trying to submit that to Hallmark. I mean, I don't think they are doing any horror things, but all of your scripts should be good to go, and you could send it as soon as you get home if you're asked for one. 2, all of your scripts should be high concept, meaning they are easy to explain and pitch. High concept doesn't require a high budget. It's just a term that means the idea is simple and easy to convey, and it's intriguing and interesting to the person hearing it. This translates into simple log lines, easy pitches, and those are usually great ideas to base a script on. So all 3 categories of scripts I'm going to give you should be high concept. 3rd, there is some advice out there about how all of your scripts should be the same type of script, and this honestly may or may not be true for you. I know writers for whom this was very true, but I also know writers for whom this was not true at all. So what should be consistent though across all of your scripts is your writing voice. And if you don't know what your writing voice is and you haven't honed it, you need to do that anyway by writing some more scripts. People hire writers because of their voice and their ability to craft a good story and tell it well. Whether it's a drama or action or horror rom-com, doesn't matter. Your voice and your ability to craft a good story and tell it well is a transferable skill. And producers and managers know this. So if you only want to write, say, horror movies, then yeah, all of your scripts should be in that field. But if you want to write other things, it's okay if your scripts are varied. And last, number 4, before you submit any script, make sure you have a solid log line and a short pitch for all of your potential scripts. If you get asked in the room and you say, oh, I've got this horror movie called Scarecrows, okay, that's just not good enough. It has to be something like, actually, yeah, I grew up in Missouri and every year my family would drive to Colorado and we'd go skiing, but I always saw these scarecrows when we drive through Kansas. And there was this one town I remember very specifically, Clio, Kansas, that just had a bunch of scarecrows, like an ungodly number. And I started to wonder, if the scarecrows had come to life and had taken over the town, what would happen? So my script, Scarecrows, is about the mayor of Clio, Janet Kodak, trying to get her family to safety when the scarecrows attack during a massive rainstorm, because fire's not going to stop them this time. I just kind of quickly threw that together. So yeah, it's a little sloppy, but you get the idea. By the way, if someone wants to go write that, I'd probably go see it. So you need 3 scripts, and what are they? And these are in no particular order. Again, you can send out whichever one seems appropriate when the strike is over, of course. So if you only have 2 of these, you've got time to crank out another one. Script A, your calling card script. Think of this as your banner script. It's the one that gets attention. There's something edgy about it, or a lot of something's edgy about it. Things that are crazy and outlandish and super high concept, and these kind of scripts should tap into some type of social stigma and shed a different light on it. Often these scripts do get bought and made eventually. Some writers I know have had their best calling card scripts made 10, 20 years after their first paid job as a screenwriter. Okay, so just because it's a calling card script doesn't mean it's not going to get made, but great calling card scripts get you jobs, and they for sure get you in the room. If you want a loose idea for how to generate an idea for a calling card script, think about something in our society or in your world, just your circle of influence, that gets the blood of people boiling. And then create 2 characters, one who's on one side of the issue and one who's on the other side, and that'll help get you started. You do want to stay away from political issues. Those tend to shift a lot and they're a little harder to hit. Focus on social issues. Those tend to stay around a little longer. And if you aren't sure what social issues are out there, just go watch some newscasts on a network that you are not a personal fan of, and I promise it's only going to take you 20 minutes maybe to find something. Script B, a budget-minded script. So we're thinking low budget, minimal budget. Budget is a big factor in whether or not a script gets greenlit or bought just to begin with. And some producers have ideas and connections to make a movie, but they only have $1 million or less to go and make it. And they want a writer they know can write a low budget or minimal budget script. So you have limited locations in the script, limited speaking roles, nothing that is globetrotting on a grand scale. I mean, you can do it on a limited scale because that's fine. It's easy to fake the look of a lot of places. Or did you think they went to Mars to film The Martian or to Afghanistan to film Lone Survivor? Nope. California and New Mexico. Just limit the locations and let the producers get creative with where to do it. But you do need to keep budget in mind. So you need another script in your pocket that is a low or minimal budget script. Script C, a script only you can write. You are the expert. You have to decide what that thing is that makes you unique. Because when you're trying to market your scripts, you're not just marketing the script, you're marketing you. And so if there was a movie poster made of you, what would it look like? You know, what's the commercial advertising you? What makes you unique? What's the thing you are the expert in? What makes you different from every other screenwriter out there? And this script is one that only you can write. It is something you are passionate about, that you can talk about, and that you deeply, deeply love because it is something that matters to you. So what is that script for you? And maybe what you need to do is just take some time and do some inventory of what you currently have. Do the scripts you have meet these broad categories? And if not, what are you missing? And if you're an intermediate writer, start writing these kinds of scripts. If you're an advanced writer, make sure you have one in each of these kind of buckets. You need one of all three. And maybe you want help with writing them and you want to hone the process of writing a script or writing all three of them. And this is what my coaching program, The Navigator, is really all about. I guide you through the process so you can hone your process. Craft solid scripts that you can share with other people and build out your stable of scripts so when you are ready, you can begin reaching out to producers or whomever and try to get your script sold or made or whatever your definition of success is. And if you're an intermediate writer, so you've written a couple of scripts, but you are serious about the craft. You're like, okay, I've written it, it's fun, but now I'm all in. You're ready to go to the next level. Click the link below and book a call with me to apply for the Navigator. Or maybe you just want some feedback on a script you have. I do have limited spots available for some script consultations, so if you'd like me to read your script and then we get on a call and we talk about it, there's a link below for that as well. And there's other stuff below. In fact, just click on the links in the description below. I guarantee there's something there that will help you become a better screenwriter. And as promised, if you want more information about how the WGA strike impacts you, even though you aren't yet a paid screenwriter, watch this. Don't forget about fun buttons, other links below that might be helpful to you. And when you tell a story that matters. See you later.